Bitcoin 1 year from now, I think is something around 250,000. It's obvious that Bitcoin's been a great hedge against political uncertainty because you know what? It's censorship resistant. If you own the keys, you own the coin. No one can seize it from you. And I think Bitcoin has maybe more upside than that is because the new administration has run on a pro-Bitcoin platform. And I think that the possibility of the U.S. not only legitimizing Bitcoin, but making it a strategic reserve asset, I think raises what would be the possible price scenarios for Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is gaining unstoppable momentum as it rides a wave of government support, institutional investments, and the latest halving supply shock. Thomas Lee, co-founder and head of research at Fundstrat, predicts that Bitcoin could surge to $250,000 by 2025. The recent Bitcoin halving event earlier this year has significantly tightened its supply, setting the stage for a meteoric price rise. Lee believes Bitcoin will break past $100,000 soon and continue climbing toward the $250,000 mark within the next year. In the US, optimism is building around Bitcoin as the new administration works to recognize it as a strategic reserve asset. If the government accumulates 1 million Bitcoins, it could become the world's largest holder, lending immense credibility to the cryptocurrency and fueling its price even further. Stick around as Thomas Lee unveils more insights into Bitcoin's extraordinary potential and its journey toward global acceptance. Also, if you enjoy listening to crypto-related content, please show your support by liking and subscribing to this channel by following the link in my bio. And get access to my free daily crypto updates and expert predictions direct to your inbox. Each newsletter contains market intelligence, on-chain data and latest updates from experts in the crypto space. All of this is available completely free of charge. Signing up only takes a moment and you can always change your mind later on. Now back over to Thomas Lee.
Part of the reason we have stayed constructive on Bitcoin is the price is following closely the prior halving cycles. The halving cycle, for your viewers, is when the block reward gets cut in half. That happened earlier this year. So there's a reduction in new supply. And the sweet spot of that price gain as supply is cut starts to happen towards the end of this year and then into next year. And I think that has supported why we expected Bitcoin to be 100,000. And over the next 12 months, I think something over 250,000 is possible, but maybe highly probable based on just following this price cycle. The second reason I think Bitcoin has maybe more upside than that is because the new administration has run on a pro-Bitcoin platform. And I think that the possibility of the U.S. not only legitimizing Bitcoin, but making it a strategic reserve asset, I think raises what would be the possible price scenarios for Bitcoin. Because if the U.S. government, as they intend, ultimately gets to 1 million Bitcoin, they'll be the largest holder of Bitcoin in the world. And they'd exert enormous positive influence on legitimizing Bitcoin. And maybe I would just add to that, it's almost like taking a playbook from MicroStrategy, because MicroStrategy has proven that using Bitcoin as a balance sheet asset has really created a lot of value for MicroStrategy shareholders. We've recommended to our clients that if they didn't want to be Bitcoin only, that they could look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, because we put those largely in the same category as like sort of core cryptos. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We are also entering what I think is alt season. Next year is really when I think the crypto market could broaden, and this is where those who are really experts on crypto, and I know you run a crypto fund, actually are gonna have some alpha, because that is actually when many altcoins could do really well. I think that the stronger Bitcoin is, the stronger the ecosystem becomes, and so many of these utility tokens and things that are tokenizing really start to have a lot of expected value. I think that markets are at, like a friction point right now. because we've had two really good back-to-back year gains. I mean, anyone holding at the start of 2023 is up nearly 50% since then. So I think for anyone looking forward, the risk reward next year is quite different. So I can really sympathize with someone raising cash like Warren Buffett. Part of his selling, he had been doing it throughout the 2024, may have been in anticipation of changes, potential changes in tax policy, like paying a capital gains tax increase. But that being said, if we didn't look at the level of improvement of stocks for the last 2 years, but just over the next 12 months looked at what lays ahead, I think someone can be optimistic because we know the Fed is cutting interest rates, but at a time when the business cycle is still healthy. So in the 7 times the Fed did cut while we weren't in a recession, markets actually did really well over that period as cost of money falls. And the second is that I think some uncertainties have been cleared up. I think so much of the summer, our clients were sitting on cash and getting nervous, and you could see it in the VIX index because they didn't know who was going to be president. But now that election is behind us, and while I don't think anyone knows what policies are going to emerge, because there's a lot of radical policies being offered, including cutting government spending, etc., I think it's going to create opportunities for many companies. And I'd say that the way we would sort of look at that is we'd want to be looking at smaller cap stocks because they've really been held back the most. And the third thing I guess is constructive is as by the measures of like how people have deployed cash, it's still a pretty cautious market because margin debt hasn't risen for 5 months now. So that's not typically a sign of euphoria. It's usually a sign of exactly what you said, people getting cautious. And even like investor sentiment, like AAII actually has fallen away. So we're at not that level like where people are so bullish that you have to start to turn bearish.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe for news and expert predictions direct to your inbox.